All right, taking a live look right now, downtown Cincinnati, Ohio. This is where Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin, again, remaining in the hospital, critical condition after suffering cardiac arrest on the field during a Monday night football game on ESPN against the Cincinnati Bengals. This all unfolded live in front of millions of viewers, obviously fans, and most importantly, his family, which were in the stands. Family members were in the stands at the time. Hamlin's uncle speaking recently, describing the critical moments medical staff were working to keep his nephew alive. Listen.
Well, his heart had went out, so they had to resuscitate him twice. They resuscitated him on the field before they brought him to the hospital, and then they resuscitated him a second time when he got to the hospital. So I just want to show my gratitude for the medical staff that were on hand, because if not for them, my nephew probably wouldn't even be here.
The NFL says the game will not resume this week. It is unclear if it would be played. Greg Buttle is a former linebacker for the New York Jets and is with us now. Greg, this medical emergency shocked Monday Night Football viewers. What goes through your mind at this hour, considering Damar Hamlin is still in critical condition?
You know, it's a funny thing. When I was watching the game, I thought originally he was knocked out. I saw the replay, and the first thing that came to my mind was a little boy, Louis Akampora, out of Northport that suffered commotio cordis back in 2000 at 14 years old. And I'm going, that's got to be what happened. Normally, a player on the field would just think, oh, well, he got knocked out. All right, so let's see what happens. So you have people milling around and going, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? And then all of a sudden, he's not responsive. And then that's when everyone starts to panic. Hey, doctors, come in here. There's something wrong here. Now, the unfortunate part about everything is speed. And how do you diagnose it? And how quickly is he diagnosed with what's appropriately wrong with him? And, you know, because time is of the essence, especially when you're talking about cardiac arrest. And players on the field, I will tell you, normally would react, okay, he got knocked out. Okay, that's fine. But no, once you find out he's non-responsive and not breathing, now you're scared for his life. And that's awesome.
Greg, I want to talk to you about that, about the NFL, about the Players Association, about teammates, the brotherhood, if you will, and how they rally together. Essentially, when this tragedy unfolded, and as you watched, as millions of Americans watched on ESPN on Monday Night Football, for this to happen, it seemed like the NFL, the game itself, everything stopped. And again, even if you weren't a fan of football, even if you didn't watch, you turned it on to see what happened. And again, everyone seemed to come together at this time, whether you're on the team or different teams or you played NFL before, no matter what, everyone stopped and is constantly praying and rooting for Hamlin. Talk to me about that, about the unity of the NFL, the players, the teams.
Well, you know, you sit around there and again, it's like I've been on the field and I've seen guys get knocked out and I've watched them stand up and fall to the ground. And you're just assuming, well, he's knocked out. I've done that to players. I've hit running backs where they get up and they just fall down. And they have it's a delayed knockout. But when you get to a position where you're on the field and it's more than that, and not one player would know what has happened to this guy out on the field. When I talk to my cardiologist, Dr. Lauren Baglioli, you talk about how sudden this is. And nobody that's on that field has experienced it or seen it. It's a lightning strike. And you're in shock because now all of a sudden, as things are going forward, you have the coaches and the players and you're talking to each other and nobody knows anything. All you can do is visualize what's going on the field. And it is unbelievable chaos. It's controlled chaos, but it is disheartening to every player when that happens to another player. Most of the time, if it's an injury, okay, people get injured. But this is totally different.
Yeah. Again, he remains in critical condition, sedated and on a ventilator at this point. Prayers from all over headed his way and his family's, the Hamlin family. You know, Greg, when you think about what happens next within the NFL, I guess within the season alone, there are plenty of questions about what's going to happen next and maybe if there would be any additional protocols or precautions set in place to prevent something like this.
Well, that's very, very difficult. I think the NFL handled it about as well as you could. But again, if you're talking about commotio cordis or sudden cardiac arrest, there's relatively no time for you to diagnose it and say, okay, this is what we have to do. Minutes go by. Those are precious minutes. So other than having an AED running out on the field with you just in case, I don't know what else they can do when it comes to standard operating procedures of players, how they get taken, where they go. The NFL is as good as any place you could possibly be, other than a hospital, with the people, the specialists that are surrounding them. The difference is now what are they going to do going forward? And that is just incredible, because it doesn't matter what they do. It's a PR nightmare no matter what.
Yeah, and obviously a heavy contact sport. What could change on that? The last update we got, as I was pointing out, that Hamlin is on a vent, but the one positive light was that he was on 100% oxygen. He is now on 50% oxygen, so he is indeed fighting. And there will be a time to diagnose this. Right now, though, thoughts with the family and with Hamlin himself to push through this. Former New York Jets linebacker Greg Buttle joining us live to talk about this. Greg, thanks so much. We appreciate that.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.